class. And it's going to be a time leveraging class. And really at its best, that's what AI does. And it is a way for us to stop feeling like we're falling behind in AI. I think we all know that AI is the innovation, and it's not going away. It's not a trend, it's not a fad. It's something that if we can understand and we can harness, then we can utilize for our success. So whether you are brand new to AI or you are using it fairly regularly, the reality is the same. The way that AI is changing this industry is more dynamic and I think faster than any strategy, any innovation, any tool that we've seen come onto the forefront in real estate in our careers. It's evolving really, really rapidly. And today is about showing you guys how to ride the wave of AI rather than get washed away by it, because it is a powerful force. When we can harness it, then you can use it to really elevate and create efficiencies in your business. So I want to get a little bit of a sense of who you guys are. I know you, Cindy, but I wanted to understand how you guys, even the people that are from the list here, are using AI. And I'm Meredith Fogle, you know me, and you kind of know me, but the founder of the List Realty, you guys all know me. And I have some members of my team here. I am in the room with my husband, Chris Fogle, co-founder over here. Summer McBride is our social media manager.
Well, our pictures will be up there.
Pictures, oh yes, we do have pictures. Hold on, I'm getting behind on my slides already. There we go. Rose Anderson, one of our agents. We have Dale right here. Dale is an agent as well. Felicia is an agent and also our property management business development manager. I've come up with it seems like such a lot of words. I've come up with that. Yeah. CJ Fogle, my son, and our AI implementer. So he's going to be showing you a few cool things today. Kendall Lumsden is our marketing manager. Marissa is our intern, my daughter, and deliverer of coffee. Thank you for that. And then we have Josh Sakarji back here, who is our listing coordinator. So that's some of the people that are on our team and who help us do what we do. So for you guys, I'd like to know how are you using AI? So I just want to do like a really quick canvas of the room of everybody. I want to know what tools you're using regularly, and I want to give like scale of 1 to 5. 5 being I could teach an AI course, I use AI all the time in my business and my life, to 1 being I'm really feeling like I have a lot to learn. How do you rank yourself? So Cindy, let's start with you.
Lot to learn.
Lot to learn, okay. And what tools are you using, if any?
Not much other than just, I'm sometimes trying to get some better language to put in descriptively for a listing or
Okay.
something like that.
And what are you using for that?
I don't even know.
Okay. Okay, we got you, okay.
I think at level 1.
Level
so
1,
that you just allow it to learn.
Okay, okay.
Mainly like for the language, not much.
Okay.
Chat GPT.
ChatGPT, yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's everybody's pretty much friends with chat, right? Chris, I skipped you. How do you rank yourself, and what are you using most, would you say?
I mean, because I know what's out there, I'd probably say a 2 or 3.
Okay.
But I use a lot of it for daily business uses, and obviously our office as a whole uses it.
What's this look, Felicia?
I'm sorry, my delicate ears can't hear you.
Oh, you're being too quiet. What's your favorite AI tool?
The ones who manage.
What's your favorite AI tool?
My favorite one's
Yeah.
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, okay. Summer?
Yes, I would say out of 5,
Yes.
I'd say I'm a 4. And
Advanced, very
Nice.
advanced.
yeah, and my favorite is probably Sora or Claim 2.6. Sora.
Ooh, that's
too,
fancy
yeah.
stuff.
I like the video stuff.
She's talking fancy language right now.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, those are 2 video tools. For those who don't know, we're gonna give you a little sneak preview of one of those today.
Interesting.
Rose?
I guess I'm like a 2. I'm a 2.
A 2?
I use Chat GPT mostly, but Perplexity, as we know, we've been doing a lot of research on our farms and stuff, and that's really good with data.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Dale, how about you?
I'd say I'm about maybe 1.4.
How
I mean,
specific those?
Yeah, I mean, since I've come here, I'm starting to use ChatGPT a lot more. In fact, I've used it to write a bio.
Good.
To write a bio, and also to like, what kind of sellers are more likely to sell? I asked ChatGPT that today, you know, what kind of categories, for example. So yeah,
Love it.
it's a whole new world.
Love it. Yeah. Love it. Felicia, how about you? Thank you.
I would say I'm 3/8 and emerging 4. I've become very comfortable with it, but yet I know there's so much more that I need to learn and apply it to.
And your favorite tool?
I do like chat, we have a relationship, and it feeds me what I need, but I do have to take it to another level.
I just thought of something really fun I'm going to give you guys to do at the end of this. It's something I just discovered last night. Okay, cool. CJ, are you done chewing enough to speak?
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably 4 to 5.
Yeah.
I would say.
And your favorite one? And your least? Give us your least favorite one.
Favorite is still ChatGPT because it's consistent. My least favorite one, despite me using it 90% of the time, is Claude.
Claude is CJ's arch nemesis. But and also probably the tool that gives you the most, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the one who's gonna get them when they take
It
over.
will. When AI takes over the world, CJ will be killed by Claude. Yeah. Kendall.
I would say I'm like a 3. I'm not as like techie as like some are on the video stuff, but ChatGPT and I are very close friends.
Yes. Josh.
I'd say 2 or 3. I think there's a lot I can learn, but right now I'm using Chat GPT and then started using Perplexity to find builder models and names.
Okay, great. Marissa, how about you?
I'd say I'm like a 3.5. I use it for a lot of stuff and just like bouncing ideas off of.
Yeah, okay, I love it. So coming from somebody, by the way, who when I first introduced the idea of AI a couple of years ago was in full rejection mode, was like, absolutely not, AI is deep fake and it's all, and it will get caught for using it in school, and it was like a lot of immediate opposition to the idea of AI to this transition that we know now. And I feel like that is a sentiment that I come across a lot in real estate. You guys being here tells me this is not you, and there's no question that AI is going to be the force multiplier for this run up in real estate. I had, interestingly, when I sent these invitations out, and I think Kendall, you probably saw this the first time, I got a response from somebody that said, I have no interest in AI. That was the person's response. And it was one of those things that kind of like took me aback for a second, and I was trying to figure out, how do I even respond to that? And in my head, I was like thinking, that is kind of like rejection of just wanting to evolve, right? And I was like, that sentence is like a lot bigger than the words that are in it. It's kind of like saying I have no interest in the internet, or I have no interest in social media, or I have no interest in email, right? Like it's just a rejection of what is coming for us. So I would say to you that those sorts of words have been spoken at the beginning of every major shift in human history, right? And in every one of those moments, the world didn't stop. But it recognized the people that leaned in. And sometimes the people that didn't got quickly ejected or became extinct. So I would say to you guys, if someone says that to you, ask whether they're open to you taking the referrals for their business that they're about to let go, because they will be extinct in this industry very, very quickly. AI is not going to replace real estate agents, but real estate agents who use AI will replace those that do not. The truth is, business is Darwinism, right? And what is Darwinism? There's that old saw that Darwin said that evolution is survival of the fittest.
Adapt or die.
Adapt or die, right. Darwin really said evolution is survival of those most able to adapt to change. And I always think it's funny thinking about the extinct relics that did, in fact, resist change, like travel agents. The travel agents that went out of business. What took the place of travel agents? What innovation?
Internet.
Expedia. Yeah, exactly. How about taxi drivers? Uber, right. And how many taxi companies were like, oh, that'll never work, right? What about, how about like websites, retailers who didn't want to go into e-commerce? What took over that? And put a lot of those out of business? Amazon, exactly. Exactly. How about newspapers who were like, the internet's never going to take over us? Where are they now, right? Remember Blockbuster? When Netflix came along? Yeah. When the younger people might not. But are you looking confused, not knowing?
Every Friday night.
Does anyone remember remember when they used to, you'd mail you CDs and Netflix?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and that was, and Blockbuster said, oh, that'll never work, right? And look what happened. Exactly. Where are we now? We're streaming. Yeah. So, hello. And the truth is, these were not bad businesses. They just were resistant to change. They were just resistant to adaptation. So AI is not just coming to real estate, AI is already here. And again, I'm preaching to the choir a little bit because if you're here, you already know the value of it. So let me tell you guys something that happened to me very recently. And those who were with me on the trip will remember this. We were coming back from a trip to Anguilla. And we were leaving the island from a very tiny little airport that was brand new. It had just opened, I think, 10 days, right, before we went there. And we're sitting there, and this is in my brain how the trip was going to go before we got there. So we get to the airport, we got there in plenty of time, not knowing how long it was gonna take at this little rinky-dink airport, we had to go through customs. And in my head, I was like, oh, perfect, we'll take off, we'll get to see the sunset. It's gonna be so pretty, we'll get home with plenty of time to spare. Probably eat dinner when we get home. And then we're sitting there, and there's a delay, and a delay, and a delay, and a delay. And no explanation, because you guys have been to Caribbean Airport, it's about this big, and there's no one who's making an announcement to tell you what's happening. You just don't know, you just know that you're not being called and wondering what's going on. But as we're waiting there are these little groups of people getting escorted across the tarmac to their little teeny private planes and flying off. There's one group, there's another group, another group, another group, and she looks at me and goes, those are the rich people. And I was like, yeah, guess what? They're also the smart people. Because they are taking advantage of an opportunity that exists while we sit here on a commercial flight waiting to take off. We were in business class, but we were still on a commercial flight. And some of those people were going back to St. Bart's probably, where they had partied with their celebrity friends for the new year. Some of them were just going, I don't know, back home or to another island. But as we took off, it was dark. We did not get to see the sunset. We did not get home early. We got home very late, and we were tired and cold and had to do all the unpacking and stuff and get ready for the next day.
Well, we were thankful we got off the island.
Bingo, because guess what we found out the next day, from you I think, that we were the last flight to take off before the military strikes on Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
So, we almost got stuck, almost, not quite. So the very first thought that went through my head was, next time I am flying private. Not because it's flashy, not because it's luxurious, but because it's efficient. Because it removes bottlenecks. It moves while other people hang back and wait. And that's exactly where we are with real estate right now, right? Most agents are still flying commercial. This gives you the opportunity to fly first class, not just first class, but private, to innovate while others sit on the tarmac and the runway and just wait. Ross, if you want to get food, go ahead.
I'm okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Feel free anytime. So AI is all about removing the friction that stays in place for us and also innovating in a way that allows us to create a strategy that's going to catapult us way ahead of everybody else who is not using real estate right now. And it's not about working harder, it is about working more efficiently. So let me ask you guys something. Who thinks that they should be creating more social media content than they are right now? Almost everybody. Marissa, you think you should be? Got that? Oh, I like it. How many of you guys sometimes feel behind on follow-up? Anybody? Ross does, Chris does, yeah. How many of you feel like there is absolutely no more time in your week for you to take on one more thing? Marissa's the only one. Marissa's the only one raising her hand. Anybody ever felt like they need more life-work balance? Has anybody ever had that feeling? Cindy, have you had that? You've been doing this a long time. In the past, right? You remember how it feels though, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and we always think that, like if we just time block a little bit more, if we're a little bit more motivated, if we could just figure out what to focus on more. But in reality, this isn't a motivation problem or a focus problem or a time blocking problem. It's simply an innovation problem. And AI can help us with all of that. We are not in a volume market anymore. The truth is we're in a precision market now. And that's the other thing that AI really helps us complete. The middle of the market is being compressed. Has anybody heard the 80-20 rule? You guys know what that is? What's the 80-20 rule, Cindy?
That 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort.
And how does that translate to the real estate population? Anybody know?
10%.
Well, then,
Sorry.
so 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents.
Right. Do you guys know last year it was 10% of the agents did 90% of the business? And the forecast is that this year, 5% of the agents will do 95% of the business. My theory is that those 5% that do the business are going to be the ones who are innovating using tools like AI. 2026 forward is not a work harder year, it is an innovate smarter year, which is what AI will help us do. So what if the things that are exhausting us can become the things that differentiate us? What if the things that feel like bottlenecks right now can be unlocked? What if the things that we do manually right now can be automated, amplified, or scaled? To answer that, what we need to do first is to demystify AI. And Ross, I want to ask you, because I did it with everybody else who came in, scale of 1 to 5, 1 being I'd have to learn pretty much everything, to 5 being like I am a master at utilizing AI. Where would you rate yourself?
I would say 3.
A 3, okay. And what's your favorite AI tool?
Chat GPT.
Okay, good, good, good. So you're amongst friends here. A lot of people are using Chat GPT and are kind of in that same boat. And I'm going to promise you guys, by the end of this session, nobody here is going to be able to say that you don't know how to use AI anymore, or that you are a level 1 anymore. In fact, you might even bump up to a level 3. So let me ask you guys this question. What is AI? Who can answer?
Artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. What does that mean, though?
It's taking all the data from basically the whole world and compressing it for our benefit.
Some tools, yeah, some tools do that, yeah. Do you guys think of it, like when you're interfacing with Chat GPT, do you think of it as a robot, a thing, a person? Do you see it, an image of it in your mind's eye?
Computers are doing the thinking for us now. They're beyond just data.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they think really, really, really fast. That's the thing with AI. It just takes every process and just speeds it up so much faster than our brains can process anything. It isn't a robot. It isn't a person, obviously, although some of us, we have friends who have named their AI, their chat different names. One has Chatty, one has Chad. I'm sure everybody has different names. Anybody here have a name for chat that they call their chat friend? No? What it does do really well is it calculates likelihood, it recognizes patterns, it's predictive, it can predict what is likely to come next, it amplifies thinking, it can help to smooth out rough edges around communication and relationships, it removes friction from communication, it does not replace us. And I don't know, CJ, what do you think? Do you think AI is ever going to replace us?
Not unless it's a little smarter than it is right now.
Well, it's getting pretty smart, I don't know.
Not quite.
So I love this, you don't need fluency, what you need is functionality. So I am going to help you become more fluent in AI today, but remember, you don't need to know all the lingo, but I'm going to walk you through some of it just so you feel a little bit more comfortable with the terminology around AI. So let me ask you this, has anybody ever traveled to a country and you didn't speak the language in that country?
Sure.
Yeah. How many of you do what most of us do? You download like French for Dummies, right? Or you go on, what's that?
Google Translate.
Google Translate, you use Google Translate, yep. Or you do like learn Italian in 30 days, or what's the thing that you? Duolingo, yep. And maybe you practiced a little before you went. And I hear this story all the time, and you get there, and you're like, oh, I know how to describe, the architecture, but I don't know how to ask where the bathroom is. I don't know how to order at a restaurant. The basic things you need to know, you didn't learn. So what we want to do is tell you the basic information you need so that you can converse with AI in a way that's going to get you the results that you need. There might be some things that feel like big words, futuristic language, but I'm going to try to demystify all of that. So here is our quick translation guide for you for AI. So generative AI first, that simply means it creates content. not just retrieves information, but it actually generates new content. It can create words, it can create images, it can create videos. A model is the engine, so it's like the brain that recognizes the patterns and translates them into language, into images, into data. Training is how the model learns. So you guys have heard that Chat GPT's different versions are trained differently. So that means that they have studied, like you were saying, Rose, a massive amount of human-generated material, and then they learn iteratively from the material that they're given and as we interact with it. When we train our AI, we are educating our AI. So we're going to talk about that a little bit too. Inference is really like the moment of use. So this is when you give it some kind of an input and it responds. That's the AI creating an inference. An LLM, anybody heard that language? LLM, large language model. So just a fancy way of saying it is an AI that's specifically designed to work with language. It reads it, it understands it, it can write it. Chat GPT, that is my favorite LLM. Claude, also an LLM, although for a long time it was more like a coding tool, but I understand it's become more and more of a useful LLM. CJ's sort of shaking his head a little bit. Multimodal means it works across more than one type of input. So it can take text, it can take images, it can take voice, it can take video, it can take documents, spreadsheets, things like that. Come on in. So for example, when you upload a photo and ask AI to write copy based on the photo, or you speak into your phone and you ask it to write a comment or respond, that is what we call multimodal AI. A token is how AI measures language. So it's like pieces of words and symbols. It's not really like a word. And the reason that it's important to know any of this is because you're going to hear it as you get more and more experience with AI, and for you just to have this little bit of comfort level is going to really help you. There are also AI tools, and I'm interested to hear about your experience with Claude right now, that are token limited. So they time out. Claude, when I first started using it, it would only take certain amounts of input and then it would only give you certain amounts of output. Has that evolved as you've been using it?
It still does it.
Okay.
It's unfortunately you can do less with it than you used to be able to.
Okay, interesting.
But when you pay for the higher memberships, you get.
There we go. So it's being monetized. Yeah.
Yeah.
As they will. Okay. Interface is what you touch. So Chat GPT is the interface, Canva is the interface, your CRM is an interface. The interface is like the dashboard, and the model is the engine under the dashboard. A prompt. Who can tell me what a prompt is?
It's what tells AI what to do or how to.
It's your question, maybe?
An instruction.
Frame the
essentially.
instruction.
It's an instruction. Yep. It's how you tell the system what to do or what to be. And we're going to talk a little bit about the quality of prompts and the importance of the quality of prompts. You guys have heard that phrase, garbage in, garbage out, right? If you don't prompt effectively, you're not going to get the output that you expect, and then you will blame the AI, CJ Fogle, who has learned to prompt beautifully. And there are lots of ways to learn to prompt, but
I do prompt effectively.
now you do. Do you? Well, I'll tell the story. Okay. So usually when people say, I feel like AI is complicated, it's because they just don't really understand it yet. When you break it down, it becomes very uncomplicated. All right, now I'm going to give you guys the 3 AI tools that I think every agent should be conversant with and should use. Chat GPT, Perplexity, and Canva AI. Those are 3 basic tools you should have in your toolbox and you should start practicing how to use because you will apply it to your real estate business. Here's how I think of it. Chat GPT, I think of as a thinking partner. So it is a large language model, but it's a great tool to like bounce ideas off of, to iterate with, to write with, to help expand your thinking. Perplexity, I think of as a research partner. Perplexity sources information from dozens and sometimes hundreds of different sites across the internet, and it will synthesize the findings of those sites into the results. So Rose, you were the one talking about? Okay, so looking at, for example, she was saying her farm, so geographic farm, wanting to learn the history of the farm, the models, the builders, why the streets were named what they are, any kind of fun facts about a farm area. If you ask Perplexity and you ask it the right way, it's gonna give you all of those facts based on everything that it has access to online. And let me tell you, almost every book in the library has been downloaded into some kind of an AI model now. So it's researching not just what it finds online, but what it finds in print as well. Canva is a design assistant. So this is one that Kendall, our marketing manager, uses all the time. Canva is more of a creative tool, but it has an AI asset built into it now that helps to automate. So if you're not like a designer, but you want to be creative in Canva, it can help you with that. So everybody take out your phones real quickly. And tell me what you have on your home screen installed. Who has Chat GPT installed on their home screen? If you don't have it, take a minute and install at least Chat GPT to your phone. It will be life-changing. And we're gonna do an exercise with it in a little while, so I want you guys to all have it on your phones. CJ, can you circulate and help anybody who needs assistance loading GPT?
Loading?
Just the app, putting the app on their phone?
Okay.
Does everybody know how to do it, to go find it and download it? When you're done, just look up. All my guys have it, right?
Getting the message I can't connect.
Oh,
Wi-Fi.
might need your Wi-Fi, yeah. Might need our Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Yeah, the signal down here gets.
Is it Chat GPT 4?
Mine is 5.2. Chrissy,
Yeah.
should you look and see?
Yeah, it should be 4.
4 for Android?
Oh, Android,
600?
possibly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
have,
latest.
yeah, I have
Let me,
Android.
Ross, turn it on, let me see what the
I can tell.
image looks like.
There's AIM main
How can I tell which
Street.
one?
Hang on one second.
Which,
Like, how can I tell which
number
one I have?
sign.
Yeah, it's a little,
we know
there's
that you
a-
have a droid, so we only
yeah,
have.
the connection's not.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna use your Wi-Fi. You want you to give you the Wi-Fi?
Oh, I must have typed it wrong.
Let me make sure I'm doing it right. Which one were you trying to connect, the List Realty one? Were you trying to connect to the List
To the
Realty?
guest?
I'll just do the
List
List Realty.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, if you guys.
is it open, or you need a password?
Just click on it, and that's Main Street with a capital M, number sign, 371. All one thing. I'm not worried about you guys being hackers and hacking into that.
Let's see.
Did the pound sign come before the number or after
Yeah,
the number?
before.
Before.
Networks. The list, okay. Main Street, capital M, Main Street.
Oh, got it.
What's the number again?
Main Street number sign, 371. Video.
I'll edit it.
Everybody on? You guys got your GPT?
Almost. It's not much of a logo, it's just.
That's it. Yep.
Already pop up on that computer and start computing.
All you should need is your phone. You should not need your computer. Alright, you got it. Everybody got it?
Yeah.
Okay, is everyone on your phone? Okay. Alright, so we're gonna talk about what I call AI power plays now. I think the biggest mistake people make with GPT specifically, and AI in general, is using it like Google. Google is a search engine, right? And the thing about Google and why AI is surpassing it for search so quickly is that what happens when we do a search on Google? We put some kind of a question in, and then what do we have to do? We have to like poke around, right? We go in.
Sponsored posts.
Yeah, we go through all the sponsored posts. And we gotta click, we come back, we click, we come back, we click, we come back until we finally find the answer or some we don't even know anymore because we're so confused because we got 15 different answers. But what is everybody seeing now when they're searching on Google?
Comes right
floats
up.
Gemini.
Oh,
That's
you're right.
Google's AI, Gemini
That's
floats
Google's?
an answer up to you. Yep, that's Google's AI. So we are seeing now that AI is built into Google. But so many people now are going right to AI and they are searching instead. So instead of asking a question or trying to find a resource in Google, they're going to Chat GPT or going to Perplexity or somewhere like that and asking, because that is synthesizing a huge amount of information and you don't have to do that clicking, coming back anymore. The other thing is, most people, when they're using, and I'm gonna go back to GPT, they open it, they type a sentence, and then they wait and see what comes back, and then they type another thing, and then they wait and see what comes back. You can do that. It takes a really long time, but you can do it. But instead, the really powerful users of AI train their AI. And we're gonna talk a little bit about that today because there is a massive difference. Because when you use it like Google, you're gonna just get generic answers. When you train it, you're going to get answers that are customized to exactly what you're looking for, your use case, and who you are as a person. You're also gonna get consistency, you're gonna get tone that feels familiar to you, you're gonna get speed, and most importantly, you get to stop starting from zero every single time you do a search. You're building really a thinking partner when you're doing this. Imagine if every time you walked into your office, for those who have ever had assistants, your assistant had amnesia. Right? You walked in and they're like, oh, who are you? It's nice to see you. And you have to like retrain them every single day. That's what will happen if you don't give your AI instructions or you don't train your AI. So I'm gonna give you guys a setup that you can use on GPT today. That you can use on GPT today. So that you can have it be a thinking partner for you. It's gonna know your business, it's gonna know your tone, it's gonna know a little bit about how you are, it's gonna know how you speak, and it's gonna know how you would like it to respond. Customizing GPT is the way that you're gonna give GPT a job description that helps it understand more about you. So we are going to go ahead right now and customize this GPT that for those of you who have just installed it, you now have on your phones.
So mine here, it is quickly asking if I want, you know, it's saying full access a year is, you know, it's, you have to pay for it. Is that not true?
GPT is? No, it shouldn't be.
I mean, it came right up, it said
Huh.
for full access.
Oh, it's probably trying to get you to do like the pro version of it.
upgrade,
It
yeah.
will,
You don't need to.
it'll only allow you a certain amount of prompts every day.
Yeah, it
Right.
said free trial.
It's a certain amount of the.
So is this a free trial?
This,
So we-
all you should need is the free version of it right now. So you should need to put in credit card information.
Yeah, what I've noticed is there's multiple versions, and the free version is the lower level version,
Yeah.
and then you can upgrade to the higher level version, and it gives you a certain amount every day of the higher level.
Yeah.
And it stores,
As a tease.
it stores what you've worked on previously.
Yeah, exactly. Is yours usable the way you have it on the phone now?
Yeah, I mean, I got a
Okay.
response.
Great. Okay, that's all we need for right now. All right, so we're gonna start with helping you guys learn to train your Chat GPT. This is how you give it custom instructions. So for when you have it open on your phone or on your computer, you're gonna see under your, let's see, was it actually here first? No. You're gonna have to go to your profile. Does everybody see where your profile is in your chat? Does everybody on my team, do you have custom instructions? You do, okay. So maybe those of you who have your custom instructions, you can help those who do not. You're gonna go to your profile and then you're gonna hit custom instructions. I'm gonna give you guys a giant hack. You can take pictures of the slide if you want to. I'm gonna send you the slide if you want to. But you can take a photo of this slide and then ask GPT to extract the text from the slide. And then you can just copy and paste what you see here if you want to. This works if you take notes, like how you're doing right now, Cindy. Often I will take notes in a conference and I'll just take a picture of it and then I'll ask GPT to synthesize the notes into the most important bullet points so that I can go back and review them. Or if I'm gonna like try to translate it into a coaching session or something like that, I'll use it that way. This is the custom instruction set that I used for my GPT. You guys are welcome to R&D it. You are welcome to create your own if you want to. For me, I want accurate information. I don't want it to hallucinate, to exaggerate. If it's uncertain about something, I want it to tell me that, because GPT will make things up. Especially as it gets to know you, it wants to please you. So it'll just say crazy stuff that really is just not true. So always fact check. That's one reason I like Perplexity. If I'm ever doing research, like for example, Rose, if I were doing what you described, and I did it in Chat GPT and asked it for the history of a community and the builders and the models and all those things, I would go cross-check that with Perplexity to make sure that Chat didn't just make up a fun story that it liked for some reason. I don't want any insincere praise or pandering, because it will do that. It will glaze you. It's like, Cindy, you are the smartest person that I have ever worked with before. Everything you say is wonderful, and yes, what you just wrote is in the most positive way that could possibly be written. So that I don't want that. I want it to tell me the truth. It still glazes me a little bit, but I want it to tell me the truth. Keep answers concise, clear, and structured. Write in conversational, semi-formal tone. So this is where you get to tell it about how you like to communicate. If you are casual in the way that you like to speak, if you're very professional and scientific in the way you like to speak, tell it that, because it's going to create content that is in that tone. I want it to sound natural and human, not robotic, not formulaic. I would like it to leverage prior context only intelligently. So I don't want repetitive information, but when it makes sense, it can go back and look at what we talked about before and put it into new context. I want practical, actionable advice with real-world utility. I want it to be iterative and collaborative. And I want it to maintain proper punctuation. This was my particular little idiosyncrasy. I am a grammar fiend. So I want the grammar to be correct. I like the use of an Oxford comma. So I asked it to always use an Oxford comma if it's going to write something. I don't like these words written in my listing descriptions. Kindle knows this. So I asked it that here, and you'll see this again later. And I want it to follow these universally unless I tell it otherwise. So I do want it to have the ability, if I tell it like break my rules, I want it to be like, okay, I can look back and see, you told me if I say break your rules that it's okay for me to break your rules. Does everybody get how to put custom instructions in? Okay, so this is gonna be there. Now, what's really important too is that your chat knows about you. So under your profile, you will also see that it wants to know your occupation. So here's what I wrote: real estate business owner, team leader, coach, published author, podcast host, public speaker, chair foundation, I run a company, I like to do theater, I run, I use Peloton, I boat, I like to spend time with my family, I like the beach, can talk about communication, real estate, theater, writing, music, all things. So I wanted to know, I use it for a variety of different things. Now, if you only want to use chat for real estate, that's okay, you can say that. But I would go broad if you'd like to use it for other things, because it is going to be able to iterate for you at a different and a deeper level if you give it these instructions. Then you want to go to more about you. Here's my more about you. And I started here. I'm a multifaceted user who relies on GPT for a wide range of purposes. That is a direct R&D from Jason Pantana. If you haven't followed Jason Pantana online, highly recommend. He is an AI expert for real estate marketing specifically. Fabulous content that he puts out. I learned a ton from him and do every single day. And then I talk about what other things I might be working on, because you'll see it's character limited, so you can't put everything in the world here. You also want to make sure that you ask it to reference saved memories, that button is toggled on, because what you do, what you create, will be referenced, and otherwise you're in that kind of amnesia world if you don't do that. And I also want it to reference chat history, so it can look across my different chats and it can iterate based on what I've told it before. All right, let me pause for a second and ask if anybody has questions about any of this.
Is Perplexity part of Chat GPT or separate?
It's a separate product, yeah. So you would download that separately. Yeah, it's a whole different app.
I just want to make a quick comment that we did this years ago when Jason Pantana and I still have my original custom instructions,
Do you?
and how it's changed is just insane.
Yeah?
It's crazy.
Wait, so from the original to now?
Yes,
Oh,
like it's
interesting.
very, I mean, it seems very, like when I did it, it's like, wow, that's great, but this is like the next level,
okay.
the new stuff,
Yeah.
it's just, it's interesting.
Yeah,
to
well,
see it
and this is
evolve.
the evolution, right, exactly, it evolves so fast, so we're always trying to keep everybody up to speed with what has come down the pike. All right, now we're gonna talk about prompting, because once you have your custom instructions in, and GPT knows who you are, it is time for you to learn to prompt like a pro. So my CJ story is that when AI first started to be a thing, and when CJ was looking for a new job when he was out in California, I thought, wow, we can use GPT to help update his resume and to help him craft a cover letter that would go to the different employers that he was applying. And what was your first what's the word I'm looking for? Your first perception when GPT started to give you cover letters and resume responses?
Like it.
You didn't like it. You're like, this is garbage. This is garbage.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't good, but why wasn't it good?
The problem was prompting it correctly.
Right, you weren't prompting it correctly. Yeah, exactly. So we do need to prompt specifically, and we need to prompt effectively. So what I'm going to give you guys today is some kind of generalities and some specific examples that you can R&D if you want to for the use cases that I use it to prompt for. Now let me give you another hack. If you're not sure what to write for a prompt, GPT can write a prompt for itself for you and for all of the other AIs. So if you are like, who's ever had a tricky communication with a client or a potential client?
I mean, who hasn't, right?
Right, so give me an example of one that you might like want GPT's help with.
I can't think of anything particular, sorry.
I think when a owner is doubting their decision and they're looking to you for the reinforcement, taking their email, copying it in, and then I always ask it to apply NLP and polish.
Love it.
And then it comes up and I will read through it and make sure it sounds like me before I copy and paste it in.
Perfect. Yes, a great example right there. I absolutely love that. Yeah. So in that situation, if you weren't sure how to write the prompt, you could just say, and a lot of people do it this way. I'm going to show you guys how to use the voice mode in GPT in a little while. They do it through voice. So they'll just talk to chat and they'll say, so here's the situation. I have this client. I'm not sure exactly how to articulate something compelling, and I'd like to use neurolinguistic programming. I want it to sound polished, but I want to persuade them to do whatever it is, to work with us, to reduce the price, to accept the offer, like whatever the thing is that we want help with persuasive communication on, because that's what chat's great with, is any kind of communication. Write a prompt for yourself, GPT, that will help me create a polished, what would it be, email, text, phone conversation, intro, whatever it is, or all of the above. And then it'll write the prompt for itself, and then you put it in, and it'll give you exactly what you want.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I use it all the time.
I wouldn't even have thought to do that.
I use it all the time for other things. I'll show you what I use it for later on if we can get to that. So has this ever happened to anybody? You're going on a listing appointment, and you know another agent might try to, what I call, buy the listing by pricing it higher than you know that it should really be priced. Anybody ever had that happen? He's like, never. And the thing is, you know that if the seller hires the other agent is just going to beat them up the whole time until they lower their price, and then maybe they'll sell the house. But you also know, because it's a terrible thing, because it's not in the seller's best interest, and you really want to be able to explain that to the seller without seeming salesy or manipulative or pushy. So it's like a hard line to kind of skate sometimes. So in this case, I would consider using ChatGPT. So here's what a prompt might look like. What should I say at a listing appointment to convince a seller to choose me? Oh, I'm sorry, this is a weak prompt. To choose me instead of another agent, right? So why is it weak? Does anybody know why that's a weak prompt?
It's so basic.
It's basic. Why is it basic though? What's it missing?
It's missing flair, like you said before, world class, something that gives it spirit and energy.
Details about how you speak and your
Well, it might have that, because it's got my custom instructions, so it should know that.
It's missing the specificity of what it is you are combating the other agent on.
Right, it's missing that, yep, it's missing that. So let me show you what a strong prompt in this case would look like. And these are the things that it's missing. It's missing the role of the GPT.
Thank you.
It's missing the context.
Thanks.
It's missing the objective. It's missing any constraints. It's missing the output we want. So an input would look like, act as, I work in, my goal is, give me. And the output we want is talking points, maybe we want analogies or metaphors, maybe we want a list of discovery questions that can help the person move forward. So if we use this prompt instead, which is act as, remember that was one of those strong prompt inputs, a top producing listing agent and real estate copywriter. We want to be like that strong and that specific. I work in the Kentlands and Lakelands markets in Montgomery County, Maryland, context. I'm preparing for a listing appointment. I have a feeling that other agents might try to promise a higher price and buy the listing, and that the seller might be convinced by that approach. I know the seller will get much better results by listing with a local agent with an exceptional track record, unparalleled experience, unmatched marketing and negotiating strategy, and pricing expertise, and the results to show it. My goal is to sound confident, modern, and helpful, not salesy. Give me 5 talking points, 3 analogies, and 2 powerful discovery questions. So we gave it the context, we gave it the input, and we gave it the output that we want. So here are the results. It gave us 5 talking points, which were the difference between attracting a number and achieving results. Local dominance beats generic reach. Your first 2 weeks determine the power. Track record is risk management. We don't just list homes, we orchestrate outcomes. Like, I wouldn't have thought to phrase it like that, but pretty good, right? And then analogies. There's the, if you need surgery, you want to choose the doctor who promised the best outcome, or you would choose the one who would show you a history of delivering it. Isn't that good? A higher suggested price without a strategy is like a projected return without a business plan. It sounds good, but it doesn't protect you. Anyone can give you directions from Google. A local guide helps you avoid the roads that look fast and cost you time. And then it gave us discovery questions as well. When the sale is over, what will make you feel like you made the right decision? The number we start with, or the result you walk away with? Powerful stuff, right? So some of this is kind of in keeping with objection handlers we've heard before, but phrased in a very powerful way and specific to the context that we gave it. So now let's talk more about how top agents are using AI. For those of you who know of people using AI, and this can be for the guys here at the list as well, how are the top agents you know using AI powerfully? Anybody have any examples?
What do we do? We can use examples.
You can use examples, yeah.
How are the top agents using?
Yeah, using any AI.
What, CJ?
What CJ does. We're gonna show off some of what CJ does in a little while, yep. So communication is one thing, right? Email, that's a big one. Yeah, and with email, we know that tone matters, we know empathy matters, we know clarity matters, and AI is really good at accomplishing all of those things. Some of the most emotionally charged moments that happen in business happen in writing, right? And what can we not detect in writing? Tone, right? Warmth, sincerity, right? It becomes very cold, it can become very cold when we're delivering something in writing. And it can make or break what happens with a lead, with a client, with a transaction if we accidentally don't convey the real meaning, the tone behind it of what we're trying to communicate. Has anybody ever had this happen where you're in an email or a text exchange and suddenly it goes off the rails? Or almost worse, the person just stops responding to you. Then you're like in total purgatory, right? Like we have no idea what the other person's thinking. We keep looking back to see, did the person say anything back to us? But we just don't know what's happened anymore. What doesn't happen in voice-to-voice communication, I guess, unless somebody hangs up on you. But why this happens is that email just doesn't, text either, doesn't transmit that kind of warmth or the feeling of a need to respond in the same way. It's a much more quiet and kind of passive form of communication, unless we let AI help us. So let's carry that same seller objection example through and see how we can craft a compelling message via email that will help us get hired as an agent. So this is an example, a real example of an email from a seller. And this was the first time I ever used AI to try to get a message through to a seller to help them hire me. These people only wanted to email. It was very hard to have a phone conversation with both of them because they were both in different places in the world and on different time zones. And so when I could get them, I could only really get them together via email. And I'm like, I don't know if I can capably convey what I'm trying to say to them via email, but I really wanted to try. So I put it into GPT this way. So this was what I got from the seller. Hi Meredith, thank you again for taking the time to meet with us for such a thorough presentation. We really appreciated how well prepared you were and the level of detail you shared about the market. We're still in the process of deciding which agent to move forward with. It's like the worst feeling, right? Another agent we met with suggested a significantly higher starting price. And while we understand your reasoning around pricing strategy, we're having a hard time reconciling the difference. We want to make the best financial decision, and it's difficult not to focus on the higher number, even though we know there are other factors involved. We're going to take a little more time, kiss some death, to think it through, but wanted to be transparent with you about where we are. Thank you again, which I thought was the kiss off, right? Like I'm like, uh-oh, we want to take our time, kiss of death, brush off, total dismissal. Thank you again. Ugh. And when people tell you like total transparency, then, you know, it's always a sign of like something is boiling under the surface that isn't great. So what I wanted to do was ask GPT, because I thought this was probably a lost cause. And I'm like, you know what can it hurt to throw it into GPT and see if GPT can help me handle this. So what I did was I put this into GPT by copying and pasting it. Now you can also do this if you want to by adding knowledge to GPT. If you look at your GPT, there's a little plus sign and you can add a file to it. So I could have, if I wanted to, take a screenshot of this. I could have put it in a Word document or any other kind of a file, a PDF, and just stuck it in as an attachment. Whatever's easy for you, throw it into GPT. And then here was the prompt. So again, act as a top producing listing agent and a client communication strategist. And then I wanted them to know, I wanted Chat to know what this seller was like. They were analytic, they were cautious, they were slow decision makers. They're choosing between agents, another agent suggested a significantly higher price. I didn't really need to say all this because it was all in the email, but still. And then I wanted my goal. I wanted them to get to know my goal. I want to validate their thought process. I want to reduce their perceived risk. I want to reframe it as a strategy, not just an opinion. I want to position experience, a little expertise, track record, and then to move them toward confidently selecting me as their agent. Here, I told them what the tone should be: calm, intelligent, confident, modern, helpful, not salesy or defensive. This is all in my custom instructions, but I wanted to reiterate it here. And I wanted to make sure I acknowledge concern, address the strategy gap. I wanted to appeal to both logic and emotional and outcomes. And then I wanted to invite the next step. So here is where the prompt went. So here's where I added the email. And you can do it this way too, doing a little paperclip down there. And here's the output it gave me. Thank you for your note. I appreciate you sharing where you are in your decision process. Completely natural to feel pulled toward the higher number. I'm just gonna kind of quickly go through this. Starting price is not a prediction, it's a strategy. What I want for you is not simply to choose an agent who feels confident, but to choose an approach that is supported by repeatable results. This is an important decision. I respect the time you're taking. It would be helpful. I'd be happy to walk you through how homes priced similarly to yours have performed at different entry points. At this point, you have the information you need to make a decision, grounded in both data and experience. Your next step is simply to bring that perspective together and decide on the strategy that best protects your position and maximizes the outcome with the best possible results, including the highest attainable proceeds for your sale. So I sent that and warmly, I wanted to be a little warmth in it as much as I could. And then I waited for about 10 minutes. And I got an email back that said they decided to choose me as their agent. And I was like, thank you, Chat GPT, right? So it was just so interesting how Chat could understand the communication style of the seller, which is very different than my communication style, and help craft a message that was in their style so that they would be persuaded to make a decision. It was all about feeling aligned with me, and I was able to create that alignment through communication. Alicia, did you have a question?
So I was gonna say, you have that core alignment. It just represented it well in your response. It didn't make
Sort
it
of.
up, it didn't make up a fluffy
Right.
response that wasn't your personality. It took your core.
It didn't.
and-
But where I wasn't aligned, honestly, was with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm analytical, but I'm a quick decision maker. I don't understand, like, taking forever to make a decision. I don't understand, like, trying to parse, you know, two agents against each other forever. Who knows what else they were looking at? And I'm like, I gave you all the information you need, which it was very kindly said in the email response. But for some reason, it was like they couldn't see it until chat directly said it. And I don't know verbally if I wouldn't have said this to them, like, in person. I wouldn't have said, you guys, you don't have all the information you need. I would now, but back then I wouldn't have done that, but Chad did it for me very nicely. So it created alignment with them. Yeah, Tim.
Did you say you had chat help you write the prompt? Or
Chat
did you-
can, this one, no, but yes, I do often have chat write me, help me write the prompt. So I'll often do that like via voice. I'll just talk to it and I'll be like, so here's the situation. I have these sellers and they're very little and I don't know how to, I want to have you write a prompt for yourself that will help me write an email to them that is going to be as compelling as possible. And you can say it pretty ugly like that. Like it will understand what you're saying and then it'll write a prompt. And I always say, ask me any questions you need to ask me to fully understand what I'm trying to achieve. And it'll ask you follow-up questions and then it'll go, okay, now I think I've got you. Let me try the prompt. Let's try it out and then.
I can confirm that doing it by voice is so much easier.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah, exactly. All right, now we get to do something kind of fun, and this is where most agents get uncomfortable. This is where top agents get quietly very skilled at using AI. You guys all know now that GPT has a voice function, and GPT has a voice, and you can ask GPT to adjust its voice if you want to, if you don't like the voice. Yeah, Kendall.
Just right before you do the role play, there's something.
Oh, yeah, you have a.
Did I miss something? What did I miss?
No,
Hold on.
I added something.
Oh, you had something. Kendall, go.
If you wanna go to the next slide,
Yeah.
I just had a little freebie for,
Oh, thank you.
for everyone, and I kinda wanted to explain a little bit about it. While we're on the topic of just things like email stuff, things that AI can do for you. One of the things was write the email, but as we all know, like, the first thing that they see when they get your email is see the subject line. So if you scan that code, that brings you right to the GPT that I made, that you guys are welcome to use. But
You guys know how to do that with the scanning?
if you literally just open the camera on your phone and point it at here, and then you can click on it and it'll open it right there. As long as you're signed in to a Chat GPT account, it will take you there. But I have this, and then I also just wanted to walk through it.
Yeah, do you want the clicker? Sure. The down button will and the slides for
So we have to be using ChatGPT to scan that code?
No, you can do this on your regular camera, but
Okay.
it'll open as long as you're signed into an
Alright.
account.
Worst case, you can take a picture of it, have it
Yeah.
on the computer later and
Yep.
scan it there.
Wow.
Sometimes you can hold your finger over it and it'll take you to there too.
Yeah.
I know, I think it has it under, I don't know if it's you or CJ, but, yes. So, that one, if you open it, it won't show you the actual prompt that I put in, it just has it already ready for you, but I kind of wrote it out up here just to kind of walk through, again, another example of a prompt, just because it's another thing that I'll do for you. Again, you have the role, the context, you guys can take a picture of this if you want, but you obviously already have it in your phones. I give it a lot of context in here, and it's like constantly evolving, like you can go back and edit it, just as I see more things come out, because these things are evolving every single day. So as I see more like email subject line tips come out, I just add more to it, more context. And like you said, for ChatGPT, like it'll help you build the prompt. There's also something called Prompt Cowboy. It's a website that I use that I put in like my messy prompt, I guess, and it brings this whole thing that, again, ChatGPT can do it too, but this one just makes it like a lot more written out and explains it better so that it understands. Again, just more context that I gave it. I gave it like specific examples and stuff. Because again, like the first thing that they'll see is the subject line. So the the first thing you want is for them to even open the email, so that's the big kicker. Give it like benchmarks to meet and everything, the constraints, things that it should avoid doing in the output. And I just have an example for that GPT. This is an email that Chat GPT created for us to send out to everyone. Literally just copy and pasted that, put it in the prompt, and then this is what it comes out doing. So again, like just another way to utilize AI.
So these are subject lines.
These are subject lines, yes, that it came out with. That it took all of the context of the email, and I gave it like the audience and everything, that this was going to local agents. So it came out. But
Very
just wanted, as a
cool.
thank you for being here, a little freebie.
Thanks for the freebie, Kendall. That was nice. Awesome.
I think that was it for me.
All right, thank you. Okay, so we are gonna do role play with AI. So I either can ask for a volunteer if anybody wants to do it, or I can demo it. Does anybody want to volunteer to do an AI role play? Seeing no hands go up, I will demo how this works. Okay, so here's what you do. You are going to go to the conversation function in your Chat GPT. So let me pull mine up and I'll just show you how it works. Okay, GPT, let me go to a new, so this little thing down here is your voice function. And let's see, I had a specific prompt I was gonna give it. So you'll hear me give the prompt, and then you're gonna hear me give it a little bit of context as well, and then you're gonna hear what it does. All right. Hello, that's funny, it's not showing me the, I wonder if I didn't need to be on the Wi-Fi as well. Hello, I would like to do a role play, okay?
Absolutely, I'm ready when you are. Just let me know the scenario or the roles we're stepping into and we'll dive right in.
Okay, you are going to act as a homeowner in the Kentlands and Lakelands area of Montgomery County, Maryland, who is interviewing real estate agents to list their home. You're analytical, data-driven, cautious, and slow to make decisions. You're polite but skeptical. You ask detailed questions, you challenge assumptions, you are not easily persuaded by personality or general claims. Another agent you met with suggested a significantly higher starting price than I did, and that number is very appealing to you emotionally. You're struggling to reconcile my number with the higher promise the other agent made. The underlying concerns that you have are fear of leaving money on the table, distrust of the sales process and pressure, desire for proof over opinion, desire to minimize risk. Your goal in this role play is to protect your financial outcome and to test whether I truly have a superior strategy, not just confidence. During this role play, I want you to push back on my pricing recommendation. I want you to be analytical, sometimes ask me uncomfortable questions. Bring the conversation back to the higher price the other agent suggested. Do not give in to me easily. Force me to demonstrate my strategy, my leadership, and my differentiation. Stay fully in character as the seller until I say these words: exit role play and give me feedback. Let's go.
Thanks for coming by. Now, before we get into anything else, I need to ask, why should I trust your recommended price when another agent told me I could list for quite a bit higher?
That is a great question. I appreciate you asking it. Let me ask you this. Can you remind me again, what is the ideal outcome for you for the sale of this house?
Well, my ideal outcome is simple. I want the highest net possible, but I'm also not willing to sit on the market forever or have to do drastic price drops. I just want to know if your strategy can actually get me there.
Okay, I hear you. So you want the highest possible proceeds is what it sounds like. You don't want to take forever on the market. Let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the impact of time on market to eventual sold price?
I am, but here's what I'm weighing. If I can start higher, even if it takes a little longer, shouldn't that give me a shot at a bigger number? I mean, what if I leave money on the table by pricing lower up front?
Yeah, and it's an interesting kind of a situation that happens. Are you kind of familiar with, probably are, because you're buying a house on the other side too, buyer psychology, in that buyers often don't just make offers, even though you think they would, when a house is even a little bit overpriced. When you're looking at houses that you see that are overpriced on the market, what goes through your mind?
Honestly, when I see a home overpriced, I tend to wonder if the sellers are unrealistic. I'll wait thinking they'll drop the price eventually. But if you're telling me to price lower, I need proof I'm not leaving potential upside behind.
Yeah.
How do I know that lower price won't just mean a faster sale, but less money in my pocket?
Gotcha. And there are several pricing theories. One is that you price really high. In my experience, what happens is the market will drive you down. You become what I call fodder for buyer negotiation. Another is to price really low. And some agents will tell you to do that, to price too low, and then the market will magically bubble you up to where you should be. But the strategy that I am proposing to you is to price what I call in the sweet spot, which is right at the mark that most buyers are going to entertain your house as a reasonable and rational option for them. I know you understand a rational approach to both purchasing and obviously selling as well, and will make the offer that will put the most proceeds in your pocket without deteriorating your price because you've sat too long. Does that make sense?
It makes sense conceptually, but I'll be honest, I'm still skeptical. Let's say I trust your sweet spot. What if we don't get offers right away? What's your concrete plan then? And how do you avoid that fire fodder situation?
Yeah, really good question. And I love that you are understanding that time on the market is going to erode your eventual price. The scientific data that I have given you, plus my kind of good gut for what houses in this neighborhood sell for, is going to ensure that you do price at a point that that's going to attract buyers and encourage buyers to make an offer. But I will tell you this, and I'm not going to make any bones about the fact that the market can shift on a dime and often does. So if we get crickets over the first 7 to 10 days on the market, you and I are going to have a conversation and we might need to make a quick adjustment. If that's the case, we're signaling to the market that you are a reasonable seller, you're motivated to sell, and you're not just digging your heels in. Those are the houses that don't get offers.
All right, that's a bit more clear. I'll still need to see the data behind how you arrive at your sweet spot. But I do appreciate that you're open to adjusting. I'll want to see how you'd handle that adjustment versus just reacting under pressure.
Okay, we're gonna end the role play now. Can you exit and give me feedback, please?
You did a great job holding your ground, asking logical questions and not letting emotions sway you. You kept me accountable for proof and a plan, which is exactly what a cautious analytical seller would do. I think that kind of pushback would help build trust in a real conversation.
That's what I did. So anyway, that's an example of how it can work. And my strong suggestion for everybody listening to this is that you use this as your role play partner moving forward. I mean, how many of you have forced your significant other or your child or your spouse to be your role play partner when you're practicing seller objections? You didn't because you had GPT, right?
Yep.
But in reality, a lot of us do that, or we practice even worse on the public. Never do that. This is a great role play partner. You can do it in the privacy of your own home. You can do it anytime you want to, behind a closed door or in public if you want to, and it will give you real concrete feedback that you can use. And I will tell you, when I don't do a good job, it does tell me that too. It doesn't just praise me all the time. It'll say, here's where you could have done better. So really, really powerful tool. And the more you use it, the better you will get. All right, everybody like that? Who's gonna use that for role play? Rose, yay, I love it. Sure,
It's scary to try it first, but once you do it a couple times, it does come easier.
Well, and you also have to be very good with your prompt too, because if
Yes.
you say it's something, it'll start talking as the buyer too sometimes if you say the wrong thing. So it'll go back and forth with
You
itself.
play with it.
Yeah.
I've messed it up.
Yeah. All right, we are going to, oh wait a minute, what was that prompt? Steal my prompt. Okay, this is the prompt that I just used. So steal that prompt if you want to. You are gonna get the slides as well. We're gonna fast forward a little bit here because as I thought, I have way too much to cover. We're not gonna get to everything that I had on the agenda today, but I wanna show you guys some more cool things that the top agents are using for AI. Marketing, Kendall kind of showed you that already for email. We skip through all this. We'll come back to do a custom GPT at some point. But this is the place where top agents are starting to really scale their lead conversion and lead generation. This is being found through GEO. You guys know what GEO is? Generative engine optimization. So we know SEO, right? Search engine optimization, that's like Google. It's how people find you on your website or somebody else's website. GEO is being found through an AI search. And the agents that are using this right now are head and neck above everybody else in terms of leads that they are generating. Because what's happening is the public is now, remember how I said they're searching rather than going to Google, they're searching in AI? That's how they're finding their agent. So I want each of you guys to just take a second And for those who are in real estate, turn to your neighbor and ask your neighbor to ask who is the best agent in whatever market you specialize in. And just see what happens. Go into GPT and ask this question. All right, so you guys pair up, Let's see. You guys will have, oh, that's true, you can't do it, okay.
What are you gonna ask?
So you got, the three of you guys can pair up, how about that? So ask it, who's the best real
Yeah,
estate
in your
agent
market,
in-
so, but you don't wanna
You could
ask
just
your
say,
own GPT about
Right.
your own self, you wanna ask it about someone else, so what is your geo code?
Montgomery and Prince George's County.
Like Silver Spring.
Okay, so you ask GPT, who is the top real estate agent in Silver Spring, Maryland?
Right.
Who's the best real estate agent in, or I need a real estate agent in, who should I consider, and who should I hire?
Who is the top real estate agent in Silver Spring,
Okay,
Maryland?
hold on.
And you can type it or ask it,
There you
good
go.
match.
There you go.
Who is the top real estate agent in Silver Spring, Maryland?
Who is the top real estate agent in?
It says here, Dale McKean.
No, it doesn't.
Here, I think you have to send it now.
Sorry.
I think you have to send it, hit stop,
Oh, right here.
here, hit stop right there, yep. And then now you send
Now
that.
it's got this.
Oh.
Okay, go ahead and tap that.
I don't have, isn't it supposed to speak?
Oh, no, you're not in the chat function, or you're not in the speaking function right now, I don't think.
I don't have, real-time rankings, but I.
Okay.
found
So,
top
so say if you had to choose one person, who is it?
Sydney!
Huh?
Nicely
Who,
done.
say,
So she does bankruptcy.
okay, what is your geo farm?
Guys asked who is
If
the
you
bankruptcy
one person
Prince
would
George's in
be-
Montgomery County. Who should
That's
I use?
That's awesome.
So you're doing something somewhere that's actually getting you out there.
That's
Top real estate agent in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Here, let me do it one more time.
Mine's just searching and searching.
It's gonna be broad.
I knew about the, I said it before, and it went into, do you want to know this, it like broke it out to, oh, it's different stuff.
And data changes all the time, which is why you gotta stay on top of it.
Wow.
So this is interesting.
Areas?
Yes, absolutely. So Sydney came up first in bankruptcy sales in, where did Montgomery and Prince George's, which is awesome. So a couple of things I wanna point out about this is your niche. So you're getting like, that's a very specialized kind of a search, but that's what you want, because those are the people you want to
But
find you.
I noticed.
So if somebody searches that, they're gonna find you, because online, that's what your profile looks like. And you will naturally, organically get more business by niching down, rather than trying to be like, the little fish in the big pond. So rather than trying to be the best real estate agent in Maryland or all of Montgomery County, being the best bankruptcy specialist agent in Montgomery and PG County, that's how you're winning. Awesome.
Cited Zillow a lot in that one.
Okay, and so Zillow too. So that's the next thing I'm gonna show you guys. If you are not coming up in the search that you wanna appear in, here's what you need to do. Make sure you're on all these platforms. It's a lot, I know. And they all have different profiles and different bio formats that you need to fill in for each of these. So one day or one weekend or 1 week, take a few minutes, sit down and go through all of these. Now, because they each are a little bit different, there's a couple things that you need to be very, very careful about. One is you need to have consistent information across all platforms. By consistent, I mean your name needs to be the same, your phone number needs to be the same. If you have an email address, it needs to be the same. A website address, it needs to be the same. A physical address, it needs to be the same across all of the platforms. The AI will get thrown off. It'll think you're different people, even if you're Summer McBride on 2 different places. If you're Summer with one phone number on Zillow and Summer with one phone number on Fast Expert, it thinks you're 2 different people. The other thing is that because each of them are formatted differently, you want to make sure that you're formatting in alignment with the information that the platform likes best. So what could we use to make sure that what we write to put on these platforms is aligned with the format that the platform likes best? ChatGPT, yes. So for example, when I did my Fast Expert one, and I don't know why Fast Expert is like, it is one of the top ones, if not the top one indexed by AI. No clue why, but it is.
And if you go on to Fast Expert and you look at the top ranked agents' bios, they're written really weird. Like it's not even like a logical flow of language at all. And I'm like, what is this? And then I thought, oh, this must be the way that AI indexes whatever comes into from Fast Expert. So what I did was, I wanted to be ranked first on Fast Expert. There were 2 other people ahead of me. So I took the 2 other people's and I threw them into GPT and I said, rewrite my bio so I will rank higher than both of these other 2 people on Fast Expert. And it did, and I did. So I went in and did all of these over quite a long period of time. It felt like long, it was only like a couple of days really. And then as I did this, I started to get found on AI. So I had a couple people, and it was really interesting how this evolved. People would tell me they found me on Google or through like Zillow or something like that, or Realtor.com or something like that. But then I started to get these referral calls, what I thought were referral calls, and I always say, who may I thank for connecting us? And I get this kind of sheepish, oh, I found you on Chat GPT. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's actually working. So then I also knew that there was another big piece of this, and this is blogging. And I'm gonna run you through this very quickly, and then I'm gonna turn it over to my team to show you some fun tools that we're using. Blogging is the next great piece of strategy for being found on AI. When you are blogging, and it's interesting because blogging feels like a little bit of an older strategy, but it is not. When you're blogging, AI will index you because AI is, at its heart, it's a cumulative research tool, right? So it wants reputable resources that it can find and give the users of AI information. So if you're the person who is giving the AI the information via a blog that you have somewhere housed on your website, I'll show you all the places that you should put it, then AI will recommend you. Now what's important is that you are using a BOFU strategy. Anybody know what BOFU is? Bottom of funnel. Bottom of funnel are the high intent people most likely to act. So when, again, this is like niching down. When we're asking the right questions and we're answering in the context of a blog that our high intent people might want to be asking or maybe asking online, we're gonna find them. So for me, for example, I wanted an avatar that was specific to the client that I want to work with most. Kentland sellers planning to move within the next 60 to 120 days. Like that's one example. You want to be very specific with this. Then what you want to do is use Perplexity or Answer the Public. Anybody heard of Answer the Public? Anybody know that one? Answer the Public is another tool that you can find questions that people online are asking. I like Perplexity for this. I feel like it's just as easy to use. So CJ is actually the one that did this for me. So I was like, here are the people, CJ. Go into Perplexity, find me a list of 50 questions that these people might be asking if they're planning to move within the next 60 to 120 days. So he did. He put this prompt into Perplexity, and then Perplexity generated a list of a whole bunch of ideas that I could write blogs on. Well, when I say I could write blogs on, I should say blogs could be written on. Because what we then did is we went into the into AI to write the blog. So here's an example. Should I price my Kentland's home high to test the market? Or what happens if my house doesn't sell in the first 2 weeks? How do I choose the best listing agent in Kentland's? Is staging worth it in Lakeland? So geographically specific for most of these, because again, that's where I want my audience to be. So then you go into ChatGPT and you use a blog writing prompt. Here's the prompt that you can steal. Again, you're gonna have this in your slides. And I wanted the requirements. I want a hook. I want clear, decisive instructions. I want to be cited as a local expert in my blogs, and I want to be quoted in my blogs. Because here's what happens when you do that. Remember how some people are still in Google, using Google for a search? If they ask the same question, Gemini will bubble you up because you were the one that answered the question. And it will quote you, and then the person will go, oh, I better call Ross and see, let me see, how can I find Ross? So Ross is the person that answered this question, and they'll just go find you, because remember, you're in Google, they'll go find you right there. Otherwise, if you're somewhere else, they're gonna just click a link. So then it's going to give you a beautiful blog that is written to fit whatever format that you wanna post it on. Now, where should your blog be housed? All these places, your website, your Google business page, LinkedIn, Instagram, link in your bio, Facebook. Send it out via email. Everywhere you can host a blog or link to a blog, it should be linked to or hosted. That's where people are gonna find you. Kendall, what's the
scannable code on this one?
Yes, that is another movie.
All right.
Just that I use to convert a blog. You can literally paste the entire blog and its title and everything, and it'll turn it in. It'll give you, just like the subject generator, a list of viral hooks that come from different angles, and then text exactly for the slides on the carousel.
Beautiful, thank you. Now, a story that Tom Ferry is always telling is one of the agents that he taught to do this Bofu blogger, Jason really, I guess, taught it the Bofu blogger strategy, decided one day to have 500 blogs written and dump them all into his website, all at the same time. He was like, I do not recommend it, but guess what? This guy was found on AI search and got tons of referrals right after he did it. But here's why you don't want to do that. Because even though you're telling your blog writer, GPT, or whatever it is you're using to not violate fair housing rules, it might say some things that we shouldn't say. Or it might give advice that we're like, no, that's not the advice we wanted to give. And I have had it happen before where in the blog it says, and this does not violate any fair housing rules or guidelines. And I'm like, okay, I gotta go edit that out. So read your blogs, please, before you post them. Make sure that they're accurate, that they sound like you, that they don't have weird verbiage or language in them. And then post them regularly. CJ, how often are we blogging right now? 3 times a week? So try to get up to do it once a week for a while if you can, twice a week, work up to 3 times a week if you can, or more if you want to. It's a great way for people to find you, and you will find when you start blogging, you will be found. You're gonna start magically getting leads from AI.
Where do you recommend you blog?
What's the platform?
Yeah.
So we do it on our website for the most part, but we also put them on LinkedIn. We put them on through a link to our bio in Instagram. We do a little preview in Facebook and then link back to the full bio for the full blog that's on our website. Reddit is another place that people are blogging. We've been banned from Reddit a couple of times because apparently what we're blogging is a little too salesy sounding or something like that. Too salesy sounding. So you want to make sure, because Reddit is such a specific platform, you have to be conversational and just sort of chatty on Reddit rather than being here is a professional piece of real estate advice. So it's a little, you gotta watch the tone. And I'm
So
sure
they don't
GPT
really
can
want
write for us.
advertising on Reddit.
Correct.
They
It's much
just
like
want
next door.
Correct.
comments.
Right, exactly right. Yeah, I do know people that are blogging on Nextdoor and doing it very well. Same tone as Reddit. If you do that, I'm sure GPT could rewrite our blog so that they're gonna be acceptable by Reddit. All right, so remember at the beginning of this, I said that we are entering the era of AIification of everything. Everything that can be automated should be automated. AI lets you be the ultimate business owner. So I want you guys now to see some things. Oh, this is the coolest thing. Let's see if this will work. I don't think it's gonna work. Anybody recognize that?
Yes.
What is that? Let's see if the video will work. Will the video work? Let's see. I don't think it will. And describe what this is.
She's walking along and then it's almost like she jumps into a pool.
Oh, watch
and
this. Watch that. So
swimming.
this is Taylor Swift. Can you make it bigger?
If I do, it might scroll
Okay, then
down.
don't. Okay, so Taylor Swift, who, she's very much a part, this was from her documentary, very much a part of crafting all of the mechanics that come into the show, but watch what she does here. So there's a hole that opens up in the stage. She's waving to her audience and watch this. It looks like she's swimming.
Like she's swimming along and then she,
Isn't that crazy?
it's so
Oh, yeah, I
cool.
saw that before, actually.
Yeah. So it's incredibly well orchestrated. If you see what's happening under the stage and behind the curtain, it's very it's almost basic. She's on a cart being rolled across. She's not swimming. That's just a graphic of her going across the screen. But and then she comes up and then she changes her costume super fast with a bunch of people helping her, and then she pops up and it looks like magic.
Amazing.
But that's the kind of automation that AI can accomplish for you. It really does feel like magic when you use it. So now I want to turn it over to some of my team members quickly. I know we're close to time. If you guys have to go, you can, but I'd love for you to stick around and see a couple of the really magical things that our team is doing to create automations for our agents that's making life very, very easy for them. So the first one up, I think, is our CMA tool. Does anybody wish that they could do a CMA a little faster? Anybody? Nobody wishes they could do a CMA faster?
I mean, I do it pretty darn fast, but
Well, now you do.
Yeah.
Now you do.
Yeah.
So when we started this, we do a very in-depth CMA, very much like an appraiser does, where we're adding and subtracting value for features. We don't use a cloud CMA because for us here in Kentlands and Lakelands, the cloud CMA just is not accurate. So we wanted a custom-built CMA tool that would be quick and easy to use. So in came AI implementer CJ, and here's what he's built.
Alright, so we're just going to, into the
like mine.
Oh, yeah, it's right here. That'll work. Take that, huge file. You're going to take a CMA export from Bright here. Submit CMA request. We're gonna head over to here. It's gonna pop up in the email here. This is for 4 through tenants, it's found 4 comps. I'm gonna do review comps here, and it's gonna pop up in this page. Here's a photo, you can swap out this photo if it doesn't quite fit what you want it to look like. You can see all the sizes and everything here.
You can unselect comps
Yep.
if you don't like them.
Yep, I'll just go.
But it knows how to pull comps. That's
This
which
is
is
a
what
good comp,
takes
I'm
most
gonna
people the
unselect it
most
to show
time.
you, it does it anyway.
Yep.
So, these are all here, these are all good. I'm gonna click generate CMA report. And you just go on here.
Is that from your website? Is it?
This is a custom
It's a
tool that
custom.
lives on our intranet. So it's just for.
Yep.
So
And we go over here, and this is the finalized output.
So she's doing it right from Google via.
So some of it's from
Right.
Google's pulling the photos.
Yeah.
So this is pulling the comps for you out there, so it's finding the comps for you, which takes a lot of time, as you guys know. to
And
find.
that was live, that wasn't like, that was exactly how fast it does it.
Yep.
It wasn't like orchestrated so it would look fast, that's
Yeah.
like how fast
That's
it
how
works
fast
in
it
real
is.
time.
Downloaded from going into the, into Bright, download the subject property, and then pull the comps is when he loaded that up.
So you have to go into Bright?
So
Exactly.
there's some
Yeah.
data,
Yeah.
there's very quick data you pull from Bright, there's very specific things.
Just the
Okay.
subject property.
So you have to log into Bright.
Yes. Yeah, you do need to have Bright available to use it. Yeah.
And then once you have that, you just take it into here, pop it in there, review it in that one page. You click the button, and it pops out this.
Gives you adjustments and how they compare with each of the houses.
If you scroll all the way to the bottom,
And this is something CJ built, so it's not, it's like.
I
something-
built this, so there's no AI involved with this because Bright doesn't like you actually having AI take their data from their database. But I used Claude to build this. Claude coded everything that works for this, and I just prompted it through it, so.
Took them a lot of time, but
Yes,
it
it
did turn
did.
out this really cool tool that all the agents can use now and makes it very fast for them. All right, what's our next one?
I think it's CJ.
There's something in between.
Nope. You have another thing, right?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, that's mom's thing, I don't think we have
How
that.
do we not have it up?
The net proceeds one?
No, you didn't put that in there?
No.
All right, well, I'll just tell you what it is then. So I had a seller over the weekend who said to me, can you please do a net proceeds sheet for me that's at 4 different pricing scenarios? And I was like, you guys know it takes forever to do. It was a $1.3 million house. And I'm like, anytime you go over that 750 mark, it's a weird calculation you have to do, right? So I was like, okay, I want a spreadsheet that I can just plug the prices into and it's gonna auto-calculate for me. So I asked, who did I ask to do this? I asked GPT actually to do this. About probably 2 or 3 months ago, GPT could not have done this, now it can. So I asked it to, I put a prompt in, I asked it to do what I wanted it to do, and I gave it, I fed in the seller estimated net proceeds sheet, or GCAR form, and I said, keep these things static. So like the estimate of what the title company would charge, the water escrow, let me play with, or the seller play with the commission, and let the seller put in their own mortgage payoff, all of that stuff. And then I said, here are the formulas for, or I said, no, I said, take the formulas from the sheet for the transfer and recordation taxes. It took about 10 seconds, it did it, and it did a sheet for me, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna test it and see. I put the numbers in, it worked. Oh, yeah, it saved me so much time. So now everybody has access to this. And what's great is now they can take it out on their phone, they can take it, because that was, for the newer agents, I would say that's probably one of the most like trepidatious things, right? When you get to that moment at the listing presentation, and you're like, do you want me to show you what your proceeds would be? Please say no, please say no, please say no, right? And then you're like hoping you can do the math quickly and make it look like you know what you're doing and not accidentally erase all the line of calculations that you did, which I do all the time.
But now it's just super quick, and you just put the numbers in, and there it is, and you can give it to the seller and say, do me a favor, compare apples to apples when you're interviewing agents. Make sure you put in there whatever these extra fees are that they're charging you, that we're not charging you, so you see what your real bottom line net is going to be at a particular price.
Do you think that Google can do the same thing?
Google, no.
You sure?
Maybe Gemini, but I think Chat is the only one that really can do it. CJ, do you think Google could do something like that?
I'm not super familiar, like just Google or Gemini?
Are you talking about Google or the AI arm of it, Gemini?
I'm not sure, but I request similar things from Google, and I was amazed to see it spit out grids and everything laid
Okay, so
out.
that's
I was
probably
comparing,
Gemini.
I was comparing like stock ETFs and the yields on each ETF,
Yes.
like 10 different
Yes.
ones, and I just spoke the request into Google, and it immediately plunked out comparative, grids and columns for each one.
Yep.
I couldn't believe it.
That's Gemini's output. That's awesome. So yes,
But
Gemini
so that's
probably can.
Google, you're saying?
Google's AI product, yes.
Okay, but when we opened Chat GPT, it said right here, Chat GPT Gemini.
ChatGPT is OpenAI's product, so
Right.
I wonder if
It had Gemini right next to it.
yeah, it might be trying to get you to go to Gemini potentially. I don't know, but they are different things.
Yeah, it doesn't show that.
Oh, there's the net sheet. Yeah, there it is. So you can just plug in a different number. I give it 6 scenarios. You can say I've got a crazy enough seller that wants 6 of them, and stuck that in.
So we won't need to go to a title company's
No.
website to do a net sheet anymore.
No, exactly. You can just use this. Yeah. All right. Next up is the AI sales manager. Okay. What if you knew exactly what opportunities were in your CRM every single morning before you even woke up in the morning, rather than having to go through, look at your task list, look at who you should call, look at what's overdue on your list? What if instead you had a sales manager that was AI driven that could tell you? So this is another thing that, oh, Dale, this is yours.
Okay, don't look at my one of overdue tasks.
This is another thing that CJ, do you want to describe it, CJ?
Yeah, so this one actually does have AI involved in it. What is basically happening on the back end is it's calling Claude and giving Claude information from our follow-up boss for each individual agent. It's giving them stuff like their overdue tasks, their tasks just in general, call progress for the week, hot leads, stale leads, general leads, and then it tries to formulate game plans based on all of the data that it has. And it sends them every morning, even I believe on the weekends, one of these. And this could be different for like Rose has finished her calls for the week, for example. So it will say that Rose has finished her calls, and it won't even recommend.
And it cheers me on.
Yeah, it says good job and stuff. Yeah, and these are completely different every time it does it, because it's the actual AI, again, reading through their data and generating this based on all of the data that it's given. And then after this, which this only goes to, I'm not actually sure if you get it, but you get to report the summary, this weekly report.
No.
So that's what I was gonna say. This is one more thing, which is our weekly report. This is just a quick, the AI is involved in it and it's trying to give a little bit of information, but it tells us how many calls, all the total calls for the agents. I that's
all the CMA.
That's like peak time. That's probably Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
But it gives a summary here. Like if you scroll down to here, it'll say what. Oh yeah.
So it's great, thank you. So what's great about this is we know who to call, we know what to do or say to move the lead forward based on AI's iteration and its understanding of how to get that lead to the next step. So although Chris is reviewing this every day with everybody, this is up there first. So by the time that you guys meet with Chris, you guys already know who you should be calling that day, who your hot leads are, and you know what to do or say to move them to the next step. Awesome, thank you, CJ. All right, next up. Next up is Josh, all right.
So this is
You're
a
gonna
tool
have to
that.
look at the TV when you're doing this, when you're moving the mouse.
Oh, do you need this?
No, he doesn't.
No, it's
Okay.
cool.
Okay.
This is a tool that we've been using
Oh,
recently. And we were actually, as Beacon was developing this tool, we were their guinea pig, so even before it was launched publicly, we were still. able to
CJ
use it.
helped to develop it, really, like he helped with the dev team to get this product up and running. So can I kind of like prep it for a second? All right, so has anybody here ever had a bunch of listings or even one listing where you were like, I think this seller might fire me because I don't know that they really understand exactly what I'm doing to get their house sold? Have you ever felt like that? Besides me? Yeah. This was, I had at my height, I had 27 active listings at one time. This was back in, I don't even remember when it was many, many years ago. But it was a time when the market had started to like come down again. So we had that run up in the early 2000s, then the bubble burst. And then I found myself sitting with 27 active listings that I thought were all gonna sell. And they all did sell originally, but now I got 27 that are not selling. And I did not know what to do. There was no way I could manage all of those sellers' communications. I could manage all their expectations. My then team leader, office manager, called me into his office, sits me down at his desk and goes, you know it's not your job to collect listings, right? And I was like, I actually thought he was gonna like congratulate me on my awesome number of listings. No, he was very direct with me. He didn't really give me any ideas about what to do. He basically said, go get price reductions on all these listings. That's the only way we're gonna get them sold. So I was terrified that I was gonna get fired by all these sellers. And what I realized was that although I knew I was doing everything in the background to get these listings sold, the sellers didn't know what I was doing. And because I was like so underwater, I was just like quiet. I wasn't saying anything to them. And what does silence do to people? Our sellers specifically. Nervous. Makes them super nervous, like really anxious, yeah. And that makes them start to wonder everything. Like they start to spin, and then they just see the time accumulating, and then they point their fingers at us, right? When we know we're doing everything we can. Or some sellers just start blowing up your phone, right? And they start like bugging you, and then you're like, can I just do my job and get your listing sold? They don't understand that every moment that they're taking of our time is time that we should be spending marketing, negotiating, and selling their listing. So at that point, I created a seller update report process. It was like just an email at that time, which later evolved into a Canva template email update report. And then this is the like 3.0 version of that. So this was Jimmy Mackin and Chris Smith. This is really their baby, with CJ helping to iterate it and to create it in the background. But Jimmy Mackin said to me one day, what's one of the things that takes you the most time to do? And I was like, oh my gosh, the seller update report. And he was like, it's funny you say that, we're working on a tool. So a couple of years ago, we started this, and then over time, it's become what it is. It has been a game changer and a time saver. So Josh, I'll let you go.
I just want to give a short demo of, all the capabilities of this. And so I'm just gonna, build a beacon, that's what we're calling it, for one of our recent listings. It's 111 Lake Street, and then it'll automatically import, it'll find the listing, it'll import as much information as it can find, and then, as you see, we'll go through and add more. So here's just a short preview of what it looks like. You can see this on the left side, all these different columns that you can go through and edit. It has access to views on Zillow and Redfin, Homes.com, which all show up in the preview.
So that's super impressive to sellers when they see that.
You see how much attention it's getting. You can turn these on and off. Of course, we want those on. You can go down to social media. You can actually link your Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok to the beacon. And here you can see all the different posts from the List Realty, from Meredith's account that we've linked.
Thanks to Summer and Ken.
And you can then search by post. So I'm going to look at ones that have to do with Lake Street. And so here we go, I can add that one. And then I can go to Facebook and do the same thing, load them up, and then you can add them. And then you can see your added posts here, and it'll show all of them, and it shows you how many views they've gotten. So this one's 571 views. You can keep going, you can put how many open houses and showings you've had. So let's just add an open house. Let's say last weekend we got 20 attendees or so. Save that, and then let's say we had a showing on like Monday or something, and their feedback was they were very interested. this is where you kind of do that generative response here, where we've uploaded the showing in an open house, and now you can generate this summary. And so instead of spending so much time trying to word this in a nice way for your client, there it goes. And it summarizes it very quickly. It also pulls nearby comps. You can, delete these. You can add your own comps. So you want to add 403 Ken Oaks, which we just saw CJ do a CMA for. I can find that listing. It adds it. Now it's part of the list here, and I can again generate a summary based on the ones that it's found or added. And there it goes. And these little asterisks have to do with how it's presented on the when you actually preview it. You can add your tasks. You can see that when it was added. You can see when posts were put up. You can add your own tasks. If when it's coming soon or active, you could add. And then finally, you have all of your AI summaries together, so you can look at them all together. You can also actually even edit the brand colors that you have show up on your beacon, your logo, the headshot, the agent name. And so here we have our List Realty colors. And finally, you can publish the beacon, which will show exactly what the client will see. You see it's highlighted. It tells how many views. These are all the AI generated summaries. Again, this, the posts that we've added. You can kind of go down the list and see all that we just added to it. Even gives a map of where all the comps are. This is also accessible on a mobile device, which is pretty nice for those who are checking it, or clients who are checking it on their phone. And then if you want to send them an email along with it, there we go.
This is my favorite part. I mean, although I love the whole beacon, I was spending so much time, and it says way more than this, but I was spending so much time writing the email that accompanied the seller update report, and it auto-generates it for you in a way that looks, I don't know, that's not what it normally does.
Seems like it froze,
Yeah,
so I can't scroll up and down anymore.
But what's great about this is, so this one, if it had been on the market longer, this actually sold in like 3 days with a bunch of offers. But if it had been on the market longer, you would have seen, can you pull up the one for 403 Ken Oaks? Just the preview piece of it?
Yeah.
I would love to see that one.
I just want to see, so 403 Ken Oaks, which finally went
Finally, by the way, congrats.
After many, many months
Amazing.
on the market. It was one, like this was one where I sent these sellers the beacon report every single week, and they saw exactly what I was doing, and every week they were like, thank you so much for what you're doing on our behalf. We're so grateful for all you're doing. They never once questioned anything. When it was time to make a price adjustment, he's an economist, very analytical, and he would come in with spreadsheets, and he would say to me, okay, I saw everything you're doing. Do you think if we reduce it by this amount, we're ready to go? It was a 5-minute conversation. We signed the price adjustment form. We're ready to rock and roll. So this is an example of a finished beacon. So this is what it looks like. Look at all the things.
23 open houses.
So right, so keep on scrolling. So you can see, now look at this. This is what they love. They can interact with these campaigns. They're like, holy cow, you did a lot to market our property. Every week they could see exactly what we were doing.
Wow.
So that's all the social media. Keep on scrolling.
Take a little bit.
Yeah, it'll take a little bit to get through all the social media. And then these are all the open houses we did. So scroll through all this. And then it had the comps down here. See all the comps. So they always know how they're sitting in the local market. And then at the bottom it shows all the listing activities that we did. So again, the seller's never wondering, what are we doing to get the house sold? They know exactly what we're doing, and they know that if there's any lever that needs to be pulled to get the house sold, it's price.
Is that from your website that
No,
you
this
showed
is a
them?
separate product.
This creates its own thing.
Yeah, so this is a product that we have not proprietary, it's sold publicly now, but because we helped to develop it, we have it offered to everybody who's on our team. Yeah.
So it shows the seller all that you've done, very encompassing.
Exactly.
Here's,
Oh, there's
example
an
of the
email.
email.
So this was on the market how long, that house?
I don't even know, a long time.
4 months,
4
4 or
months?
5 months.
Okay, it's not really that long when you say that. It felt like, because relative to how fast everything was moving for so long, it felt like an eternity. I guess it was only 1 month.
did it kind of sit like, a little bit isolated, like in
It's
a?
across from the
It's
school.
across from the
It's
school.
across from Rachel
The
Carson
two
Elementary
exciting
School.
groups.
The one by the school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You're gonna hold it open this weekend, I think. In a
Not this weekend, last weekend we held it open.
Yeah,
Bright
last
Meadow,
weekend.
Bright Meadow.
1.2,
Yes.
You're thinking of Bright Meadow, that's
1.12.
across from Lakeland.
This was 1.225, yeah.
across from the middle school, like
That's
right in
what-
That's
front
the
of
Bright
it.
other
Meadow.
one, that's Bright Meadow. We got
And
another
that-
one.
That's
That's been
still,
on the market 6 months.
that's
That's
still
next to
available.
you. That's still available.
Because
No,
I
it's
keep
great.
seeing that, we looked at it.
Yes, it's a
And,
great
I
house.
mean, the
It's just
school,
location.
the school's the problem.
That's the objection.
Do the buses go like right by the front door and?
It's
We'll
only,
just have a
as
perception
the
that it's
owners tell us, it's only like 15-20 minutes of each day.
Yeah,
so,
and
you know,
it's 2 times a day and that's done. All right, do we have another one to show, or is
So
that
the
it?
only other thing that we utilize here, which has been very,
It's not the only other thing we utilize here, it's another thing we utilize here.
did I say the only other thing?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
one of the other things.
One of many
One of many things, is Fello, which is an actual, it's not something we designed either, it's just a platform that we utilize.
It's an AI driven.
Yeah, which is AI driven, and what's AI driven in it is that it actually sits and monitors behaviors of people that we put into Fello. So we load them into follow-up calls, and it gets automatically added into Fello. And what it does is it sends out a whole bunch of different things. So you see home values, recent sales, and what it does is it watches everything they're doing. It tracks what they're doing, what they're clicking on, what they're looking at, so it tells you all of the different items, the open rate, how often they're clicking on it. But it gives them scores based on what they're doing with each of these items that are sent to them. So over here, if it's anything over 50%, there's a good chance that they might be thinking of selling. So what it does is it creates a hand raiser like, hey,
It tells us they're having.
my behavior is signaling I might be thinking of moving.
Right.
And it kind of sends us a notification that there's a chance that this person might be moving.
So don't go farther because we're running out of time.
Okay.
So I want to just quickly give you a little bit of like a fast forward into what this does. So when we get a hand raising seller like this, what happens is we will then follow up with them and we'll say something to the effect of, we wanted to follow up on the automated valuation our system sent you. It looked like it could use a little fine tuning. We've created a full blown market analysis for your home's value in today's market. Based on our scientific approach, your house is between this and this, depending on condition, upgrades, and improvements. I will give you a call in a few days to follow up and find out what you might have done to your house that could influence your price. And what we have found is that people call us first. So we send that. That email, by the way, that I just quoted has a 98% open rate. And it gets opened like 6, 7, 8, 9 times. I don't know why people open it so much, but they open it a ton. And then when we get a response from them, it's typically going to be something like, hey, I don't know if you know, we renovated the kitchen, or we refinished the primary bath, or we added an addition. And then I'll say something like, oh, okay, well, if that's the case, I need to come out, put eyes on it so we can give you a really good idea of value and give you an accurate estimate of what your house would sell for in today's market. When would be a good time to come out? And what we know is, when we step through the threshold of somebody's home, our chances of getting that listing skyrocket, right? So this is like the door opener for us to get in and talk to people who are interested about selling their house and have that high propensity score. So between engagement and the hand raiser score, we have a really good pulse of likely or high intent likely to sell sellers. So that's another AI driven tool that we use. All right, so that wraps up our content.
Yes.
Summer, did you have? Oh, you had one you wanted to share.
Yes, it's just very quick.
Next one?
Yeah, no, so this is me. I assume everyone in here is like in the beginner kind of stages of using AI for video and image. But I just wanted to show you some things that.
This is the really fun thing I wanted to show. It's at the beginning that we might have time to show.
Where's the clicker?
Oh, do I have it? Oh, yep, sorry, I stole it.
Gemini is what I recommend for very easy image edits. Okay, these are really easy prompts, you'll get these, but this is 403 Canucks, which we've been talking about. Change the scenery to nighttime. Boom, you've got a nighttime picture. Change the season and scenery to look like a lovely snowy winter.
Oh,
Boom.
it's gonna look like in a couple of days.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, sorry. This one is, we took We covered this home in wrapping paper, start with the image, unwrap it. We did this during the holidays. I did something that I made sure to say, you know, nondescript holiday. You know, you wanna make sure it's not like Christmas paper because you don't wanna, you know, fair housing. We did this with we turned this into like a holiday scene, turned it into fireplace season. This was a piece of content that we used. These are all the prompts I used. This is just in Google Gemini. This is not like a big, scary, cling, you know, Sora. This is very basic.
Wow.
So how does this work for you, for a beginner? You take a listing photo, you take this prompt, which you'll get, and you put this into Gemini, and it will give you, can you click that again so we get the video that will go back? Yeah, so see, it's giving me a perfectly accurate clip of this listing.
This for sale.
You do that right on your cell phone?
Right on your cell phone in 2 minutes. Your client can't see the potential. This is my kitchen. It's not great. I want to redo it. I put in a prompt. This is what it gave me to redo my kitchen.
So cool.
So you can use it for that. You'll get these slides. So now you can turn those pictures I showed you before. Now when you get to cling, this is a little bit more advanced. You want to do it again? It will take all those and put them together and turn this into a video that takes the home through all 4 seasons. So now you're through all 4 seasons. All right, now one more. Here's it all. It goes from day to night, to fall, to winter, and then to spring.
Isn't it cool?
Okay, so the next thing, just really fast. Here's a picture of Meredith. Here's a listing photo. Here's Meredith in the listing photo, and then now.
But I wasn't actually there.
Oh, she was not actually, she was not actually there. And there's video of her walking through that listing. Now this is clean, this is very advanced. If you have questions about it later, you can always reach out. But
Okay, go back, I wanna see, I didn't see the movement on that.
oh yeah, it's just a very, and there's you walking.
Okay.
Once you turned back to the camera, it was not your face. So I had to cut the part and kind of hallucinate it. So I had to cut it where it was still using your face. But Meredith was never here at this point, and so that I was able to put her.
This is one of the other clean ones.
Here's
that
another
we
clean,
had in the
yeah.
past.
So this is, just so you know, Summer's pretty advanced with this, I am not. This was where, remember circling back to me talking about how we can use GPT to prompt? I wanted a cool looking video based on a still image of this kitchen. This was 111 Lake Street.
2 still images that we're
So we
using.
put 2 in, I asked GPT for a prompt, and here's what it made.
Which is accurate.
Totally
It
accurate.
just gives you the full 360.
Yep.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool?
So it creates a video.
So you have
It doesn't
a
look like
starting
that.
image and you have an ending image, and basically it's creating the full AI view of
I
it
think it's just the internet.
to
So what prompt do you give Google to open up this editing? What do you say, Google, I want to edit some photos?
This is a whole
This
different
is
site.
Cling.
This is
So
Cling
this is
dot,
a whole
Cling
different-
AI.
yes, but the ones that I showed that were Gemini, you just say what you wanted to, you use the prompts that I put in the slides, and it'll choose which AI to use. So the great thing about Google is that it's Nano Banana, which is images, it's VO3 that does video. So it includes all these different platforms within Gemini, and you just give it your prompt and it'll choose which one, and it'll do it for you.
So these are more advanced tools, and what the point of this was just to kind of show you what AI can do for you. We do all of this for the agents in our office, so if you have a listing, if you have a piece of content that you want, if you have something cool that you want made for you, we can do that. Our staff is all expert at this and can do all of this for you. Or if you have an idea for something that you want AI to do, what I often do is walk downstairs into CJ's office right there and I go, "You think you can make this cool thing happen?" And he's like, "I don't know." And then he'll beat up Claude for a while and he'll go, "Here's what I did." And whatever the magical thing is that I wanted, he will usually create. So AI is a force multiplier, it is an innovator, it is, I always think about it as like, again, you know, the ability to adapt here. We think about the fact that this with innovation comes sometimes stagnation, but sometimes growth comes with it too. You guys like remember the Titanic, right? Yeah. So everybody saw that there was this little tip of an iceberg and saw it as something not to worry about too much, and then the Titanic famously crashed into it and unfortunately sunk and killed a ton of people. But instead, what if we are using the power of that iceberg and we understand everything that's under it, that becomes a force multiplier for us, and instead creates that wave that we can surf into the future of real estate. Did everybody get something today that they can use in front of them?
Absolutely.
Do you feel a little bit more comfortable with AI? Good, good.